Alright, this is Daryl as a service, a little late start, just trying to coordinate a few things. Don't have a producer, so I'm trying to share this out over Twitter and letting people know that the stream is on. But welcome, let me just get back to that and just make sure that the cast is coming through. Yes, it is. Learned a few tricks over the time. Of course, I've learned to dull down my volume so you don't get any feedback. So this is a fun journey, and hopefully those who are interested in around live streaming and learning a bit about that, you might have learned a few things from my mistakes and some successes. So welcome to the Office 365 Message Center the week that was the 24th of July. So that's the date at the beginning of the week, the Monday. And we've had, I guess, quite a quiet week. We'll have a look at that shortly in the Message Center. And just wondering about that. I know that there's a number of things coming up within Ignite coming. There's a few releases that are on the roadmap that are expected in the near time. But I'm going to be trying to get in touch with some of the product group at Microsoft about the Message Center, and we'll do a cast on just understanding what messages are chosen to go into the Message Center, how they come to that conclusion and what they want to make people aware of. And it'd be really good to sort of deep dive and maybe do that over a couple of sessions and talk to some people. So I think it was Brian Livingston that has put his hand up to help me gather a few people from Microsoft to have a talk about that. Because it's important to understand what's going on in your tenant, and really to understand, what is it that maybe there's something that appears in the tenant but it's not in the message center, or delays or timings of messages. It's going to be an interesting discussion. So let's see if we can get that all queued up. I also like to thank a couple of friends who are going to join me on the show sometime, so I am looking to try and just make this almost like a discussion as well, rather than it just being me rattling off and going through a few things in the Message Center and making you aware. It'd be quite cool to hear from even random people that I bump into on social media who are administering Office 365, and they've got various views and opinions, or maybe they can tell me a bit about what their week was like in Office 365 as an admin, as a user, as a whoever. I think that'll be a really good story and a good discussion to just really get different viewpoints together about keeping up to date and seeing what's going on. So we'll see how that comes across, and I'm going to be putting out the occasional request on the street, on the Twitter street, and perhaps Facebook as well, just to see if you want to join me, and we'll just connect you over Skype and we'll have a chat. So that'd be quite cool. All right, so on with it. And I mentioned before that let's have a look there, that the message center is quite empty. There is only one message this week. I haven't seen that before. Does that mean that Microsoft has not been busy doing anything? No. They've certainly been busy doing things. Some have been busy at, I think it was an event in Las Vegas which followed up in Spire, and they were, I think it was an internal event talking about things. So it's not that they haven't been busy, it's just that maybe the team that manages the Message Center didn't have much they thought they should queue up to post. Because there certainly were things that appeared and were interesting, and I think would have been good to have been made aware of in the Message Center, and we'll have a look at one or two of those a bit further along. But the message that did appear in the Message Center, at least in my tenant, is something of interest for those who are using Yammer, perhaps for those who aren't using Yammer. But actually, if you have it provisioned, whether you've got it turned on or not, I believe you probably would have got this message, because it is a service that's available. So if anyone hasn't seen that message or has purposely turned off Yammer but has seen that message, I'd like to hear whether the message has appeared in the Message Center, because I know some organizations have chosen to turn off Yammer, don't want to use Yammer, wanting to use other things. Some have chosen to use it, and maybe they haven't seen this message. And really, let's just dig into the message itself, because we know that Yammer does A/B testing. So it's not necessarily that they roll it out to certain tenants, certain organisations using Yammer, and can sort of switch between and test and see how things are going. There is a similar testing mechanism, I guess, when things are rolled out for other features in Office 365. It can be rolled out via region, so that it depends on your tenancy and where it is that it's pushed out. I think that there's we'll ask the team about that later, but I think there was another method of of course you're enrolled in the name escapes me now. Come on, guys. Early preview, first release. Oh my goodness, it's Saturday morning. I have had my coffee, so I don't have an excuse. First release. So if you're enrolled in first release, then you're kind of near the front of the queue, but there are other things that trigger these things off. Now, with the Yammer Desktop app, getting back to the announcement, what is the desktop app? We're going to have a look at it soon, because I've been fortunate enough to be using it early on, and had some initial opinions, which I'll share. But we'll have a look at it. The desktop app is using the same wrapper or browser wrapper as Microsoft Teams, and it is presenting the Yammer web page in there. But there is some more to it than just being a simplified browser. So it's interesting. It's using the same one as Microsoft Teams. Of course, it hasn't been customized or chromed up yet with coloring or whatever, but we'll have a look at that soon. It is being released to a few tenants, as the announcement mentions here. So how does this affect you? You don't really have to do anything, but invited users will need to meet the following requirements. So you will install the desktop app. There is a short link to that, which you'll get a little pop-up in the... let me think. I wish I'd got this earlier. I did capture a screenshot of what that pop-up looks like. And I don't fancy opening up my Snagit and showing you all the screenshots and the rubbish that I, screenshot and muck around with. But screenshot's pretty recognisable. It's down the bottom right-hand corner saying, there's a desktop app, and click on here to download and check it out. So you install that. It is available on Windows 7 or higher, as the announcement says, and on the Mac. So with the Now little organisation, we have a Mac user. He's dropped it on his MacBook Pro, and he's also using the Surface too, but he's run it across both, and works the same on both machines. And so the announcement also says that once it's ready for general availability, then of course there'll be another announcement in the message center. So let's just take a look at it to start with. Jeremy, cheers, thanks for joining. Let me just read out the question, just for those who are watching. If it is using the same as Microsoft Teams and memory usage is high, then all the Office 365 apps are going to eat away at my memory. Yeah, fair question. And I actually had this discussion with another person who was testing it in another organisation. And I found it was only using between 30 and 50 megabytes of memory. So that's pretty minuscule. There's not a lot going on in the browser at this stage, because it is literally a browser, but we'll have a look at it. Cheers for that question, and feel free to keep dropping things in. Right, here we go. So this is within the Adopt and Embrace environments. There are various different groups that I don't care to show you, but we do have one called Skunkworks, which we use for various testing and bits and pieces. It's also a connected Office 365 group. It's an Office 365 connected Yammer group. And this means that it's a group that has been created after the capabilities of groups were made available. It has your Office 365 resources down over here, but it also has your traditional files and notes that are within Yammer. And that sort of merging thing that's going on there, that's still a gradual process. The Yammer team, or the customers that do use Yammer, that don't use Office 365, are still going to be interested in using files and notes. So for those who are using 365 and Yammer, eventually it's going to be a shared document library that will be replacing the files experience. what I'm kind of hoping is that even for those Yammer customers that don't use 365, maybe they'll still find some way of merging that in and including some cut down version of the license. That's just me speculating and hoping. But yeah, so this is the Yammer Desktop app, and first impressions. I opened it up when I was first invited to try it out, and I thought, yeah, it's just a web wrapper. And we've seen some of these things before when apps have been made for the Windows environment. We think, well, yeah, okay, it's just a web wrapper. What's the big deal? But I'm finally working in an organization that actually uses Yammer, not just puddles around with it, not just uses it as an extension to create a customer extended network, but they actually use it. And the advantage I'm finding, one of the main advantages, is that one, it's open. Okay, so if we have a look, and I'm sorry I can't zoom with this effectively, but top right hand corner, we can launch it on startup. So I don't have to think about opening that tab. I don't have to rely on that email message that may eventually get to me to say someone's trying to send a message to you. Click here and open it up in a tab. It's there. It's open. It comes up in the background, and to address Jeremy's concerns and also some. What about the memory usage? It's just another app that's going to be in my startup group. Why is that? But it is quite minuscule at the moment, not using a lot of resources. So it launches at startup. That's one advantage. Organizations that are using single sign-on, it will also sign them in directly into Yammer. Now, I found this early on to be, I guess, an annoyance, but that's just because of my situation. I was using a Surface Pro that I had joined to my own MVP tenant, Webster Tech, and so it was signing in automatically to all those resources. On the other side of things, I was also I am working for Adopt and Embrace, and that's where I do my work. So I wanted to keep using the Yammer Desktop app to remain connected to Adopt and Embrace and conversations going on there. And what was happening was I would sign into it, okay, and I'm an Adopt and Embrace, and then I might put my Surface into standby, fire it back up again, and then the single sign-on would take over because my Surface is domain Azure AD joined, and it would log me back into my Webster Tech tenant where nothing was going on. So it's not really geared up for if you're working across multiple different Yammer tenants, but it's certainly ideal for the ESSO if you're using Yammer Desktop within your own tenant, and just that's where you work from. So all good, just not for us kind of consultant type people. Launches at startup, don't have to think about opening a tab. What else about this app? So apart from it just been running in the background, it also sends you notifications. So of course you can turn them on and off. I did try and trigger off a request to my team, maybe if they could send me an at mention during this live stream. They're all asleep, I'm sure, because it's Saturday and they're all based in Brisbane or Perth. Figured as much. Oh, so Jeremy's just responding. Figured as much about the external network support. Yeah, so it does have external network support. It's as you can see, if we've got a couple of, I think we've got a couple of external networks in here. Browse external networks. I think we might have created a couple. Loading. I'm definitely okay, no, we didn't do that. What we've been using more often now is external groups. So one of the annoyances, I guess, of having an external network is you've got to switch between them to go in and be part of that environment, read all the messages, right, onto the next network. Where the advantages of external groups is they're already in your current working network, and you can just reach out and be part of that. All your notifications are there as part of reading up on things. So we'll get back to Skunkworks, and another question. Jeremy, where do I get this as a user? Can't see a link for my networks. So yeah, Jeremy, back to that announcement. Get over to here. So it is being rolled out to some tenants to test. You'll see a a little link down the corner there, and just quietly, the link is quite public. It's not like it's only going to work in your tenants, so I'm going to be a bit naughty and I'll share it with you a bit later. Sorry, Angus and Steve. Hopefully I'm not transgressing much there, but it'd be good to just, I don't know, get some feedback. Hopefully I won't get kicked off the program or something. Yeah, so I'll catch up with you later, Jeremy. So back to the app. So yeah, as I was saying, the other side of it is the notifications. Much like when you're in Outlook, I turn all those off. I don't need to know when I receive an email, but I do want to receive notifications when someone's trying to ping me directly. They're trying to @mention me. They're trying to get hold of me, and there's a reason for that. I don't want to have notifications on. I don't want to have notifications. Yeah, good point there, Jeremy. I don't want to have notifications on for everything and have all the the interruptions. As a side conversation, that's been some interesting comments about Microsoft Teams as well, and really just chat-based stuff. How intrusive is chat-based communication to our working environment? I'm sure that'd be a good discussion to have on a number of our shows, right, Jeremy? You're talking to people about their thoughts around chat-based discussion and really creating a culture that benefits from that, but doesn't let it overtake you. And hopefully that management and people who are looking down, or hopefully sideways, see that as actual work too, that it's not just chatting to be fun and all that gifts. Moving back into the notification side of it, so I haven't got any notifications from my Teams to actually show you within Yammer, but you'll get a little pop-up in the Windows 10 style. You'll also see down here on the start bar or taskbar there that I've got 11 messages or 11 messages / notifications to respond to. And if I can just jump into my notification settings and just at least show you where you can control this, because not many people have gone through this, at least within the Windows 10 environment, that you don't have to drown yourself with all these notifications going on. So over here within the System Center, notifications, way down the bottom, because it is Yammer, notifications are turned on. And I can say whether they're going to appear as a banner, whether they're going to play a sound, etc., whether they're going to appear in the notification center over here too. So all those different options. And I think like one thought I've been having recently really is, for those of us who are using email less, we're still using it to engage customers that don't share these common systems with us. But the notification center, like on our mobile devices, is very much becoming the modern inbox. And so you do need to get your head around managing and setting up your notifications to the way that will benefit you. I saw another article, read it, and kind of really agreed with it this week too. Or was it last week? Encouraging people to turn all the notifications off. Turn them off. Do you need to know when things are being turned on and when people are trying to reach out to you? Maybe you want to just turn them all off and then start turning on the ones for the communication channels that are important to you, and leave everything else off. I don't need to know when such and such like this certain post. That's reaching out to me to try and get me engaged. Entirely up to you. But with the Yammer aspect of the desktop, even within Teams, like if we went over to that, you're going to see similar options as well. How do I want to process my Microsoft Teams notifications? Thought it was in the list here somewhere. I guess I haven't turned on those notifications at all for Teams. Anyway, we'll get back to that. There is that capability, because we do get the notifications in Teams that way. Maybe the notifications are just popping within the app itself. I'll have to have a look at it later. Nothing like working out loud on a live stream. So just to recap before we move on to other things. First impressions, it's just the web browser. What's the big deal? First of all, it logs on at startup. Secondly, you've got SSO that makes that happen, so you're not having to fumble away and do all that sort of stuff of logging into various different prompts. Thirdly, you'll get your notifications. And what I've been finding from experience is that even in our small team, it definitely helps me to remain engaged. But at the same time, I consciously make a decision to say, you know, I'm going to spend half an hour to an hour focusing on this. I'm not going to have it open on my other screen and looking at these notifications coming in. I am going to put myself on quiet time within Windows 10, and I'm just going to focus on my work. And I think that's the sort of thing that we need to start thinking about with notifications across all devices and environments, is setting yourself those sorts of quiet times. So future for desktop, Yammer Desktop app, I think there's more coming along, more around the integration side of things. I know that Skype is now integrated into the web experience across the top there, and there's going to be a deeper integration there. There'll be some Chroming up, and because it's an app, that's going to make it capable of doing other things. So because there's only one message in the message center, and you've got the gist there, let's close that off and then start looking at a couple of other things, namely the Microsoft Teams meeting experience that appeared in our mobile app. So that was the Office 365 Message Center the week that was 24th of July, and those were the messages, ta-da. And let's continue on with looking at some other stuff that I think probably should have been in the Message Center. Alright, so Teams. What I'm looking at was, and I'm signed into my own demo tenant this time, was the meetings capabilities within a mobile device. So I've got a new iPad Pro, been enjoying that. I've been using an iPhone, but I think it's available, the update is available I think on Android as well. What has been added this week is the ability to join meetings directly from your mobile app. So let's have a look at that. Let me just get the AirPlay going. Alright, pin it in. AirPlay mirror, bang. Alright, big floating head of Daryl beside Teams mobile app. So it is the mobile app on an iPad, but it is similar to the iPhone. I can quickly AirPlay that in a bit later too. But the app itself, what has appeared is, I keep trying to grab my mouse and circling things to show you, a bit goofy, is the Meetings tab. And so you see that over right beside the Teams tab. We've still got our view of looking at all the teams and various things that I'm joined in there, and I'm going to try and do a demo between people in the marketing team. We've got chat, we've got activities, so we're all used to using that side of things. For a while we've had the capability to make calls on a one-to-one basis within Microsoft Teams, and that's in the chat space. So just to kick off looking at that, I'll just try and get a call going between my demo person Laura Galloway on the iPad, and we'll also get the call going on the desktop. So just one moment. Make that call here. This is a video call. Okay, and we'll just switch over quickly so you can see. There's my experience there on the desktop. All good. I'll answer that call, and I'll answer it as a video call. And alright, yeah, that's good. Now you see me multiple angles. And from the AirPlay perspective, my local camera is pointing upwards to my microphone. So here's my hand, that's where someone else would be normally talking. So that's your call between one-to-one basis, and we've had that for a little while on the iPhone and I believe on the iPad and various different devices there too. Just to quickly drop over there and show you the desktop experience. So that's me discussing with Laura, who's on the road, and she's doing various things within Microsoft Teams one-to-one. Alright, but what has been added this week is a pretty sweet feature. Let's get back to that. We're going to end this call. Okay, and it is around being able to join meetings directly from Microsoft Teams. Now, we do have an aggregated view of our meetings within Microsoft Teams on the device. Okay, it's still displaying there. The aggregated view is showing you meetings that are within the Outlook calendar. They might also be Skype for Business meetings, again in the Outlook calendar, and also your Microsoft Teams meetings. So you can start using this to some extent as an agenda if you're going to work completely out of Teams and maybe just leave Outlook minimized. But what I am seeing, okay, within this update is now you'll see your Microsoft Teams meetings and you can join them, and we'll do that shortly. You can't at the moment create a meeting as far as I can see from the mobile app, but you do get your list there and you can join. Let's see if there's anything there. Has anyone else got anything to add? No, yeah, that's right. So there isn't really an add meeting button there to coordinate anything. I did try a little earlier and think, okay, well maybe I can create a meeting by going into a conversation. But as you can see, directly within the channel and the conversations, there's also no button to start a video call or start a meeting on the fly. So it really is only that you're joining a scheduled meeting. Now that probably will change in future because they're trying to make it more and more capable, but at least the capability is there to join that meeting that's underway. So we're going to try a couple of things here. What I did try before this call, I think I did, was joining that meeting directly from the scheduled meetings. So I've scheduled a meeting there for the marketing product group. It's in the product launch channel. So that's it there on the iPad. And let's have a look at it on the desktop product launch channel. Here's the debrief of the meeting. So it's all set up, it's all ready to go. Let's see, did I join? I'm going to try and join this, and I don't know how. Hopefully it won't override my webcam up there, but we'll see how we go. Join online. Yep, connecting. So I'm the only one in the meeting. Let's see if I can. Okay, I was going to try and trick it and say use my integrated camera. Another device that I've got recently is a Dell XPS 15, and for those owners who know about those or have looked at them, the interesting thing about that is the integrated cam is down at the level of the keys. So you'd be seeing me type, and the other comment is that you'd also see up my nose. So for the sacrifice of that nice thin bezel to give it that sort of really immersive feel, that sort of fat part of the bottom down there has to have the camera in it. Anyway, back to that. So that's me in the meeting, and normally there'd be a video there, and I'm pretty sure I can get the video going here by joining from Laura. Right, so we'll just switch back to the AirPlay demo. Here we are on the iPad. We've got the debrief of the meeting open there, and Laura's going to join too. Laura didn't respond. Nasty, huh? Here we go. Laura is joined, and here's my video. Alright, so here we go. Whoops. Where's the... Okay. Camera's over there. Cool. So there you go. It's running. It's you're in the meeting. Let me see if I can do this from my desktop, just so I can share, of course, because what do we do in meetings? We don't just talk and see each other. That's certainly important, but other things that we do are sharing our desktop. Let's get over to sharing. So I don't want to give you a kind of weird inception going here. I'm going to choose monitor 3. Let's see how this turns out. So this is a 24-inch monitor that's in portrait mode. Clearly it's not the best experience for trying to view in a meeting. Most monitors are going to be a landscape view, but this is just at least showing you that I'm able to share my desktop. It's part of the meeting experience, and there I am streaming what I'm monitoring in terms of my monitoring stream. Man, I'm always doing that kind of weird inception stuff. It's just, sorry about that. But you get the concept. I could be over here looking at a Twitter stream. I could be over here demonstrating a PowerPoint, etc., etc. So this is a really cool thing, that it is, more capable for those of us who are on mobile devices more often than our laptops. We're able to participate in that meeting wherever we are, and I expect that there'll be more to come in terms of creating meetings and being able to join those calls on the fly. So let's try that too. But before we try that, I did have one other point to make, and I've forgotten it. So let's just get on with it. Shared desktop. Oh, that's right. What we also need to see, of course, is being able to record meetings within Microsoft Teams. So we're adding the capability to join from different devices and share in our desktops. I'm sure that there's going to be a record feature coming shortly too, because that would really close the loop and make it just as convenient as Skype for Business, at least for internal meetings at this stage. Right, so we'll end this call. And let's see if we can get a random call going from my desktop. So we know that one of the cool things about Teams there, meeting in progress. Yeah, so you see that's the other cool thing about the pop-ups there. I am getting those notifications. Just didn't see them in the Windows 10 notification center. If there's anyone who can point me in the right direction as to why, that'd be cool. Let's end that meeting and just try a meet now from a channel. Yeah, I'll give that a 4. What could have been better? What do you reckon could have been better? Presenting? Definitely. Daryl, is there a tick box there that says Daryl needs some presentation help? Yeah, let's do that. Daryl needs presentation help, please. Sweet. Happy birthday, Elaine. Still trying to figure out notifications on the iPad. They seem to operate a little differently to iPhone. Right, so the other scenario is we might be in a channel and we want to start a discussion, we want to elevate a discussion thread to a meet now. And we've done this before in our organisation and another place that I've worked to at BitTitan, where you're having a chat, but you're sort of getting nowhere fast, or rather nowhere slowly, and you want to just elevate this and just sort of start talking it out. So the advantage of that is, and I won't start it here with Laura here, I want to just try one test as kind of a concept. Brand new conversation, brand new thread. Laura's not part of that thread. Let's kick one off. Let's do a meet now. Oh, there we go. Our integrated camera's working there. Hey. And meet now. So I'm not scheduling it. There's the meeting. Good thing about this is I'm in the meeting, and let's have a look at Laura's view over here in the team. Da-da-da. We are in the product launch channel. Hey. There we go. There is a meeting that I can join. It has been created on the fly. Hello there. And then she can join. So let's do that. Boom. Now, of course, from my desktop, I could have just invited her, more actively, and said, I want that person to get an invite. But there we go. There's the meeting going on the fly, and of course we can share our desktop. Let's choose our crazy portrait monitor again. And there we go. And that's Laura's experience. So we got two things. We can schedule a meeting, and then people are able to join it from the scheduled meetings and the agenda that they've got. And we can start a meeting in our channel, and I think we've got a prompt there within the app to say, hey, there's a meeting going on in a channel that you follow. So excellent stuff. Just looking to be able to create meetings and meet now type scenarios directly from the iPad or mobile device. So I guess to finish off, let's just have a quick look at. I was going to try and do it from the iPhone, but I'd need to log in as Laura and do it from there. Yeah, no, we won't do that. You get the idea. It's working the same on the iPad as it would on the iPhone, just a different screen size. The features are there. So very cool. Let's end that. Let's get Laura out of the meeting over here. And sort of round this off, we've gone a little bit over the usual 30 minutes that I would usually take, but I think to sort of recap that, we've seen a couple of things appear in, well, one in the message center and one not, but certainly an exciting development. And I think for both camps, I still hear this, why would we use Yammer, why would we use Teams, why would we use Yammer if we've got Teams, what's the purpose for each of these sorts of things. It's a good discussion, that for those orgs who are wanting to have quite open conversations across different channels, across different teams, and beyond, then Yammer certainly fits that description. And because we as a small organisation are working across to keep familiar with both, I do see the value in having those open conversations in Yammer. I guess we could go back and just look at this and say what that is about. What we're able to benefit from in Yammer is a feed, and I've got there we go. All the groups that are public, all the groups that I'm following, I can go to one place and just see those conversations roll past, and be part of them, and inject my input and see what I can do to help in there. And just tone it down. Don't feel like you're obliged to do that all the time. Don't get hooked like it's Facebook. Set some times aside to go to the Yammer water cooler and do that, and enjoy the thread and having some situational awareness of what's going on across the organisation. But in terms of that, and I guess the major difference I see between that and Teams is you can have that kind of dynamic, but only really within a team and across the channels. The activity feed, I guess, is probably the closest thing to the Yammer feed, though it is only going to display content of the teams that you are currently in, and mentions of you within those teams as well. Not really extending that sort of working out loud across the boundaries and, dare I say it, still silos in a way within teams. So that's the week that was, and like I said, there wasn't a lot that was going on in the Office 365 Message Center, but hopefully this run through of the Yammer Desktop app, looking at the mobile features within the Microsoft Teams app and being able to join meetings, has been helpful. And just sort of finish off and say that we're still looking for support for people to follow our channel, and we're up to about 90 subscribers, so we're looking for another 10 so we can get ourselves a decent URL on our YouTube channel. And you might have seen that I've sort of flopped back a bit to doing the live streaming from YouTube, and then I'll publish it within Facebook. I like the Facebook conversation experience when you're doing a live stream, and the sentiment that you can drop up there. But it's not as public, and there's still sort of a feeling and a view out there that only Facebook should only be for personal stuff and not necessarily for business, strangely enough. So I've been streaming a bit more to YouTube. So if you like our content, please like, subscribe, comment, and all those other usual cliches. But in genuine requests, please do. Because it's going to help us to better shape this service, and got some interesting stuff coming up there. In fact, next month, a couple of us are going to be speaking at the Digital Workplace Conference in Sydney, Australia. That's put on by Share the Point and Debbie Ireland and her crew. And it's going to be a good gathering of some international speakers and local speakers. That's really the focus. I think was one of the focuses of Inspire was that really giving people a digital workplace to work from and helping people to achieve more, which is, the real goal of technology. So I think we'll probably try and do a bit of streaming from over there regarding Office 365 and talking to some speakers, talking to some people about their digital workplace. I think it'll make for some good watching. So thanks for tuning in, and like I said, please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch you around again. Thanks for watching.